Hello walkers, and welcome back to City Walks. It's been a while since I've recorded, not since maybe July. I've been cycling through the French videos, no pun intended, but it's a good one. My name is Henry. Well, actually, I'm going to flip you around here. 1, 2, 3. My name is Henry. I will be your proxy walker today, your virtual travel guide, your co-discoverer. I'm going to flip you around again. 1, 2, 3, there we go. And today we are in, well, you would think we're in the middle of October or November, but it's actually early September. It's about noon and 51 degrees Fahrenheit, 10 degrees Celsius. We are in Fairbanks, Alaska today. And it is interesting place. Beautiful, beautiful state, absolutely. Fairbanks is smaller than I would have thought. We're going to walk around downtown, and I'm going to share a little bit of information that I've learned with you. And then we're going to cross the Chena River and end up at, hopefully, at the Morris Visitor Center. This is a pretty cool mural that I wanted to show you, and it's the Denali mural. Denali is south of here, between here and Anchorage, kind of. And it's kind of a big, dramatic, swooping mural. There's a couple other murals around. Maybe we'll see them. Yeah, so this channel, welcome to City Walks. This is the channel where I walk you around and we discover things. I often do not know. I'm not an expert in any of these places typically. With a few exceptions, and this is not an exception. And I point out things that are interesting, like this metalwork here with dog sledders. Kind of a neat design for the downtown area. And I ramble on. So if you are looking for a silent walking video, which I totally respect, probably, probably not the ideal channel for you, but there's a ton of other ones out there. In any case, we're just gonna wander on here as we get down to 3rd Avenue. I'm gonna get away from this main road for a second. We're gonna head on 3rd. We were just on Cushman. Oh, that's much better. The downtown area of Fairbanks is not large. In fact, the town only has about 30,000 or so people in it, residents, and 90,000 in the, it's the Fairbanks North Star Borough, which is massively in terms of area. We think it's about the size of Bozeman, a little smaller than Bozeman, Montana, which is right near where we live. You can see interesting flowers over there at the Bon Tai restaurant. A lot of stuff has got that northern weathered look to it, what I imagine it as. This is Soba, and there's a hostel down here. There's a place called the Creperie, which has some sweets and that sort of thing. You can see there are not a lot of tall buildings here. I'm not sure the reasoning behind that. There is a couple of hotels around. We'll pass one, and then some sporting goods stores, and we'll see we'll look in the window of a few gift shops as well. All right, what else was I going to say? Oh, last night we saw the aurora, and earlier in the week we went to the Morrison Center and saw a talk on the aurora from a local astrophysicist or geomagnetic physicist, which was fascinating. And he said that one way or another, Fairbanks has the aurora every night. You can't always see it because it's cloudy or it's light in the summer. And here's Big Ray's Alaskan Outfitters. I think that's kind of a local chain. Fairbanks, Anchorage, and Kodiak. So anyway, we got to see it a little bit last night. It wasn't magnificent as I've seen it before. but it was kind of cool and exciting to see. And it's a major draw for tourism here, and it's most active in the fall and spring, and probably more visible in the winter because it's dark and tends to be clear because of the temperature. This is a big old parking garage here. This, I think, is the Polaris building up ahead, and it was for a long time the tallest building in Fairbanks, sorry. And they seem to be tearing it down now. I think that's the Polaris building. And it dates back to the, I think, the 50s. Here's Lacey Street Theater, and it's currently now the Fairbanks Ice Museum. We have not been in there. We're gonna go down here a little ways and explore. Kind of a lot of 60s design elements that are around still. My son, who loves maps and urban design, has commented on how many parking lots there are down here. So I mentioned the Aurora Borealis, which is, we're under something called the auroral oval here. And that's kind of this donut shaped or oval shaped deal. You can see the fall colors out there. That is over the poles. And so that's why they have aurora every single day. It's not always spectacular, but they have some sort of activity. This is Noble Street here. We're actually going to circle around and backtrack, I think. Kind of a neat graffiti thing over there. Because I want to go show you a couple other things that I have seen. I want to thank our Patreon supporters today, and our Ko-Fi supporters, and our one-time PayPal supporters. Your donations, your contributions really make this channel a little bit easier, a little bit more bearable, you know, pays for some of our travels, buys us some coffees, etc. Thank you very much for your generosity. You can find out more about that in the description below. The Patreon is about $5 a month. Very lightweight if you're interested. Also, leave me a comment. I love getting your guys' comments about our walks, corrections, additional info, other places to walk, places you'd like to see, requests kind of thing. Those are, I really like getting those and interacting with you guys with that stuff. Across the way is, I think, somebody's election office, and it says Fish Family Freedom. Sounds like a very Alaskan type of campaign slogan. That's what I'm looking for. This is the Spring Hill Suites right here downtown, if you want to stay downtown. I will say that hotel prices here, at least for right now, are very high. A lot of prices are high, but not as high as we would have thought for food and drink and that sort of thing. It's not as excessively expensive as I'm sure it is in certain places up north and more remote areas, but anyway, it's kind of interesting. There's the El Dorado, the Gold Rush. We'll go look in some windows here. A lot of native art and jewelry and design. Some beautiful, beautiful artwork and jewelry here. And there's a lot of native artwork and design as well. Also, for the comment section, if you guys have any questions, please let us know. Let me know in there, and check out the City Walks Virtual Tours website.com there. Here's a bunch of native, handmade Alaskan native artwork and crafts. Kind of exciting to see. It's really beautiful stuff. You know. Oh, I was going to tell you about Fairbanks. There's a lot of fur type theme stuff here, and in Anchorage we saw a lot of that. Fairbanks, 30,000 people, 90,000 in the area. Founded in 1903, 2 years after this guy Barnette got off a steamboat, basically because they couldn't go any further north. He was trying to go somewhere else, up the Chena River, and they got stuck on a sandbar and they kind of kicked him off the boat. But some local prospectors, as we are back here on Cushman, convinced him to that it would be a good place for a trading post. And so, sure enough, he started a trading post, and 2 years later, they incorporated it as a town. And then there was a Fairbanks gold rush around that time, and sort of prospered for a while for a little while, and then went back down until about World War I, and then it became a geopolitically strategic area, and they started bringing in military in the late 30s, and of course in World War II, and then during the Cold War, of course, it's right over the pole and across the ocean across the sea from Russia, the Bridgewater Hotel up there. And they started building a lot of military bases, and I can't remember the name of the military base here. Anyway, and then of course they found oil up on Prudhoe Bay, and they needed to get it out of there, so they built the pipeline in the 60s, 68 I think, around that time. And here's Bobby's downtown Greek restaurant. And so that boosted the economy significantly, and it's still a transition point for that area. In fact, a little bit north of here, you get on the Dalton Highway to go up there. And I think we're 200 miles, a little under 200 miles from the Arctic Circle up here. In fact, it's something about the north, but it is the coldest city in North America, or in the US, above 10,000 people. We're going to go over here and get into a little bit of a residential area before coming back along the river and going through a couple parks. Got Sally's, looks like a bar and bistro maybe. What else can I tell you about Fairbanks? The Athabascan people called this area, this region, home. And they haven't found any evidence of a permanent settlement, but several campsites and other evidence of people being in this area. Fairbanks, I think, started at the university in 1917. University of Alaska Fairbanks. And it's got there's a Thai restaurant. It's got a Museum of the North that we're hoping to go to later in the week. It looks like it's got a lot of really interesting cultural stuff there, as well as some geophysical and natural history type stuff. Beautiful building up there. We did go up to a botanical garden up there. Fairbanks is pretty well spread out as a city. It's pretty sprawly. And I think I commented earlier, it's kind of got there's these cities and these towns in the north, and the weather and the environment up here is just pretty brutal. And the buildings tend to show that. And of course, it's expensive to live up here and expensive to maintain these buildings. And so, they're not going to paint every couple years. There's a a log house over there at the end of the parking lot. There's a log house here. And these aren't like modern kit home log houses. These look original, like they've been here a while. And a couple log houses over here. You can see they're gonna insulate that roof and by building a second roof on top. Coming up on Cowles Street here. And we're just gonna do a kind of a one block loop. Oh, there's another cool old log cabin house. We went down yesterday to the Alaska Range, Route 2 past Delta Junction along the Tanana River, and did a couple hikes to see glaciers. We got to the toe of one glacier, eventually found it. It was amazing, but man, the mountains and the topography are absolutely no joke. Man, they are serious mountains, just striking and gorgeous. But add to that the fall colors, all the sort of birch and other sort of deciduous type trees and bushes are just orange and red mixed in with the black spruce, dark greens and mosses and stone. It was just, the colors were absolutely fantastic. I'll post some, well, you can look on Traveling Mel MT's Instagram account, my wife. She's been posting a lot of stuff from there, if you want to see those photos. Anyway, it was awesome. But around Fairbanks, there are some sort of small, what they call domes and hills and mountains, but nothing as dramatic as that is down south. We're kind of in the, I'm gonna get corrected on this as if I'm wrong, I should be. But it's kind of, Fairbanks is kind of in the center of the state. Not quite, it's a little off, but it's definitely on the interior. You can see just all the deciduous colors in here. And it's, what is it? It's early September, early mid-September. And so it's still early. We left Livingston and it was, that day I think it got up to 88. And it's been in the 80s with forest fire warnings as we are on Kellum Street, K-E-L-L-U-M. So the seasonality is a huge shift. Quite frankly, I kind of like it. I'm ready for fall. But man, it is just so, the colors here are so beautiful. You know, everybody talks about the Northeast and New England colors, which are stunning. But man, Alaska has got it going on. We're on 2nd Avenue here. I'm just going to cut over here. See, this looks like a park and maybe something of significance here. Oh, looks, that's in pretty good shape. Oh, it's a church over here. Looks like an Episcopal church. And we'll just go down here a half-block crossover, and there's like a river access point over to the right. We'll take a look at the river before heading back upstream of the river. So I'll talk about this in a minute, but kind of a neat old log building And they've got some frontier version of a flying buttress out here, helping hold up the walls. Isn't that beautiful? $1929 it was built. Circle around a little bit more. See the other side. I mean, that's a pretty large log structure. All right, we're gonna cross over here. So the Chena, Chena, flows in the Tanana River, which is quite large and brady and spread out. And you can see this is, there's been a lot of rain, but it's pretty ripping along here. Look at the leaves flowing by. I have to wonder if it's just because it's confined to within these banks and can't meander like it might normally. I'm not a stream ecologist, or I have a buddy who is. I forget the name of the science that he does. Anyway, they did have a massive flood here in the 50s, I think 57 maybe, and the whole downtown area was under a couple feet of water and things were swept away. And it was in August, so about a month seasonally before now. And they had to be pretty quick about cleaning everything up and getting back on track before the winter set in. There's some ironwork with salmon here. They do a really nice job of keeping the parks beautified with flowers and trees and that sort of thing. We're on First Avenue right now. We're going to see another mural up here in a couple minutes. And here's this other log building. It looks like it's been fenced off and is no longer in use. But it's a really neat building. If you've watched this channel, hold on, I get distracted. If you've watched this channel, you know I get distracted. Here's some more ironwork showing mountains. That's kind of neat. Some variation. Anyway, if you have watched this channel for a while, you know that I do like a good porch. And that porch is awesome. It's got plenty of room, probably 8 to 10 feet, covered, benches. It's usable space. Love it. And kind of want to daydream about making that into something, restoring it. We're going to go down here and see those flags in a minute. You can see a kind of a view of downtown. Some more ironwork with cranes. Take a picture. It is 2024 and it's election season. We've seen a lot of local and regional politician signs, not a lot of national politician signs, which is kind of a nice reprieve. Oh, I was going to mention one of the significances of Fairbanks is I think it's the northernmost destination of the Alaskan Railway. And you can take a train from here down to Talkeetna and on to Anchorage. and from there out to Seward if you'd like. And I would like someday to do that. We were going to do it this trip, but the dates just didn't quite work out, unfortunately. One of the downsides of traveling in the fall is sometimes the schedules are not as open. There's some riverboat design. A Mexican restaurant, I believe. I forget what it's called. Maxine Dibert seems to be, I think I'm saying that right, could be Dibert. Seems to have a lot of signs out. We'll go this way, actually. We'll cross over a little bit. You see the Denali State Bank off to the right here behind this church. There's a Denali State Bank, and then there's a McKinley Bank, and McKinley was the original European name for Denali, and they've since reverted. Some old residual buildings over there. There's quite a few bike paths here and surprising amount of solar panels. I'm not seeing any right now, but around town you will see quite a few buildings with solar panels, surprising given how far north we are. And I guess in the summer you get a good bit of sun, but you don't get much in winter either. Neat art installation there. We're on Barnette, which I meant to mention, Barnette Street, that was named after, of course, the Barnette that founded the trading post and was the first mayor, to their credit. I'm just going to cross here, hopefully. I want to show you something. One, a couple cool bars. But also, this is the north end of the main line of the Alaska Railroad. I don't know that they actually still bring trains up this far. I don't think they do. This is the newspaper on the right here. Oh, Marlowe's Bakery. I would try that out. Yum. I just want to kind of explore down here because there's a couple neat old buildings. That bakery building, this Johnson River Enterprises, we're at Driveway Street and Pioneer Road here. This is part of the exploration part of this channel. It's I don't know, it's just kind of a neat old deal. Alaska Central Contractors. There's also a lot of gold mining in this area still. Not big industrial mines so much as independent operators that get featured in places. Oh, something smells good. Places like, or channels like Nat Geo and stuff, where they have their own equipment and they're pulling gold out, and it's sort of small scale industrial. This looks like a daycare facility, so I'm not going to go over there. But I am going to cut through here and go back to the main drive. And we'll cross back over the river. And then we'll walk along the river to the visitor center. A few years ago, a viewer commented, that they were curious about how things smelled here, or in any place, and I thought that was such a great question. And so I've been trying to include that off and on, that information. Right now it smells like baked goods, and it's making me very hungry, but it's also got that deciduous fall wet leaf smell combined with some pine forest, I guess spruce forest smells. It's really a nice fragrance to me. I have to wait for the light here. I'm going to go for it. This is Illinois Street. Still a lot of flowers. An old Catholic church, I believe. I have to find a sign to determine which one. But it's got some age to it. It's been around for a while, I think. Immaculate Conception Church. From 1914, maybe 1911, was moved over here. Let's cross back over the Chena, and we'll go to a public park. It's kind of a memorial park, and then we'll see about getting down along the river path. We're going to Golden Heart Plaza. It's called, I think one of the nicknames for Fairbanks is the Golden Heart City. I don't know where that comes from. And yet, so it is. I called it the Morrison Visitor Center. It's the Morris Thompson Visitor Center. can see one of the domes in the distance there. That's a bike and footbridge in the foreground. Cushman in first. Here's the Spring Hill Suites. We've got a little welcome here. Our anchorage is 360 miles, Arctic Circle is 200 miles, Barrow is 500 miles. Delta Junction 98 and Denali Park 120. This is an old building. It seems to be dedicated to the Yukon Quest sled dog race, which is 1,000 miles, Fairbanks to Whitehorse, Canada. I'm not going to go in. Looks like a store. Looks kind of interesting. Probably a gift shop. It's an old building, the New Horizons Gallery, TV, studio, etc. And at the also the Fudge Pot, which is a dessert type place. The clock tower over there is playing some chimes. I'm not going to read out all these plaques in the Golden Heart Plaza. But this is, the statue's called Alaska's First Family, and it's Native people with their dogs, it looks like. And a ton of informational plaques and memorial plaques that you can read if you are inclined. And we were inclined and learned a lot about the area, which is kind of neat. Another way to learn about the area and the culture here is to go to the Morris Thompson Memorial Visitor Center, or Morris Thompson Visitor Center. You can also learn about public lands there. And that's where we're going now. But this big glass structure off to the right is the Rabinowitz Courthouse and Court System building. We're getting into a little bit of a nature smell here with the leaves and trees, and it's quite nice. I'm also often surprised how quickly you can get away from the hustle and bustle of urban sounds and traffic and all that stuff, and it doesn't take much time to do that, or distance really, especially if you have some trees and natural space, green space. I forgot that I was going to show you this, so bonus. So this is the Lend-Lease Memorial, and of course many people have heard about the Lend-Lease agreements with the UK in World War II, but this, we also had a program with Russia, because they, of course, were fighting the Nazis and basically using their vast geography and numbers and weather and extreme weather to absolutely crush them with huge expense. But a lot of the materials that made that possible came from the United States and our factories. And they would fly, I believe, planes up here, and then Siberian partners, pilots, would fly them over to Russia for the war effort. I'm going to cross over here to get back onto the path along the river. Getting a little sunshine, it's nice. The other reason is because there's a little archway that I want to pass through when we get to the visitor center. And I want to show you one house that has a bunch of solar panels, which granted is not a huge data set to bolster my argument about how many I've seen, but I've seen a surprising number, which is more than zero. You can see a house over there. It kind of looks like a little flower petal or something, but they've got them at a very steep angle facing south, which is where your sun is going to be most of the year, and a bunch of them. We recently a couple years ago, put solar panels, I guess last year, put them on, and we were able to do so because of the Inflation Reduction Act gave us a 30% tax credit and made it affordable for us. And it's a joy to watch. It's a joy to be self-sufficient in our power. In fact, we produce a surplus, which feeds back into the grid. And with net metering, we end up paying zero electricity bills. We just have a connection fee. And we provide clean energy out to other people, which is nice. So this is the archway, and people are taking photos over here. Cute photos. Oh, it's a wedding couple, but they're moose antlers. I'm just going to walk through here real quick. I want to get out of their picture. Go through real quickly. Super cute. Hi there. So this is the Morris Thompson Cultural and Visitor Center, and it's where we saw that talk about the aurora. And they have started doing summer talks here once or twice a month. So we just lucked into it. So we learned a lot about the aurora that I didn't know, and what to expect and how to view it, places to view it. So we will take a look here. I want to show you these statues of baby crows that I just love, in this little copse of birch trees. But look at this, aren't those funny? Those are great. Let's just walk in here real quick. Eight to 5 in the off season, 8 to 6 in the summer. they've got this great museum entrance. We'll just do a quick walkthrough since we have time. And they've got a lot of information about the cultural bits of Alaska, the pipeline construction, military, and life in the interior, a little bit of artwork and activities, a couple, what it's like to live here in the interior, about arts and the winter. I know I'm just blazing through here, but I don't want to make this the focus of everything. The Creamery Dairy is where we went out last night to look at the Northern Lights. This is Morris Thompson exhibit. And I believe he was a governor. Excuse me, sorry. Another reason I don't want to spend too much time in here is because I want to make sure you guys want to come see it yourself, because it's an awesome place and you can learn a lot. We're gonna go back outside real quick. You see an image of the aurora. A little theater there. A little gift shop. You're welcome.
She disappeared.
All right. Well, I want to thank you guys for joining us on this Fairbanks, Alaska walking tour, virtual city tour. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll come back and join us for more tours. I'm not sure where the next walk will be. But it'll be next week. So I hope to see you then. Take care and keep on stepping.